Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, Patricia, and Peter. 1977, Part 162. This is based on letters from the original publication, Small Shaw Family Memories Collection, or SFMC, number 77, published on March 21st, 2002. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, February 1977. Dearest Mother and Dad, Sunday afternoons they have a wonderful TV program, The Third Testament, Kierkegaard, Tolstoy, etc. Really wonderful. Did you see Roots? I thought that your Christmas card this year was the nicest one. A lovely thought, different too. I loved it. I'm so sorry that my letter went astray. I must be careful of my writing, but my eyes are bad, too much reading. The doctor said no close work. We went down to the Duffs last week. Oh, they have a lovely spot. Their wedding reception was at Turkey Foot Yacht Club, and they bought a home on the lake there. There are only 23 homes on the lake, and you enter it by a long, treed drive. They are right on the lake with a lovely view from their living and dining room and walk-out recreation room right out onto the dock. Wayne said he swam or sailed every day after they moved in last August. They still have 6 children at home, so it's great to see a family again. Anne still works too. They have a child getting a master's degree and one in law school. Then we went to the Performing Arts Center there of Akron University. Wayne is vice president of Akron University. The Oberlin Chorus was there, just coming back from tour. It was a lovely spiritual experience. The conductor, Dan Moe, and his wife were one of Peter Beebe's group. Doris was on his vestry, so it was great to see them and other Beebe Oberlin friends. We went to the Lightning Fleet dinner at the Avon Oaks Country Club with the Donaldsons Friday, and to the Cleveland Ballet Saturday. Next Saturday is the big symphony ball in the Justice Center, $100. We're going, but I don't have a new gown yet. Next week we're flying to Arizona, Camelback Inn for a few days, a convention. Peter will be alone, but he works every night this week. John and Peter went to the Klondike Derby at the Boy Scout camp Saturday, a real blizzard. We've had the worst winter in 100 years, like Saskatchewan. With the energy crisis, we're supposed to keep the temperature at 65 degrees in the day and 60 degrees at night, so I feel cool all the time. It looks so beautiful out, though. Bud is smart to be going to Hawaii. Our gas bill was $160 last month to heat the house. Patricia phoned last week. She's thinking of going to Dartmouth all summer, too. Their winter carnival is this week. I mailed her a new long dress. I hope she gets it in time. She said Mark and Pam Williams might go there for it. John has his big office meeting tonight. Tough. I will try to make the bran muffins for Mark and Patty. Thanks for the recipe and Brian's address. Jessica is 1 year old. I should send something. I love you. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, August 10th, 1977. Dearest Mother, how wonderful it was of you to fly down to be with us at the Broadmoor. Such an expensive trip for you, but how great to see you, and so glad that you survived it all. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Peter told John some very nice compliments about you. He said you were a very good sport, and that you seemed like you were a very sincere person, from your grandson. He is a lovely young man. Ann Baker had told her mother how much she enjoyed meeting you too. Dee Dee Baker, her mother, called and invited us to dinner, but we were going to the yacht club, regatta show with the Donaldsons and the Stewarts, so the Bakers joined our table Saturday. Our big party is over, so I feel like the sword of Damocles fell and I'm still alive. It's taking me a week to recover from it all. I hope I don't ever try anything like that again, but I'll probably forget and just remember the afterglow and try something even dumber. It was a great success, the Donaldsons' anniversary party. Everything worked out perfectly, and I did it all by myself, with the Lord's help, and John's and Peter's and Patty. I sent out invitations for 120 people. 50 or 60 called with acceptance, 30 called with regrets, so I didn't know whether we'd have 60 or 90. John guessed 80, and I think it was about 75. I hadn't put RSVP because of all the phone calls, but had them anyway. The Donaldsons came about 6:30 to 6:45, and we went down to the beach house, which I'd spent till 11 p.m. cleaning one night. Barbara won't go down anymore. We had some wine and took a family picture of them. Then I came up to get the picnic supper ready. Peter and Rick Donaldson came up to help me set up all the buffet tables and card tables and chairs outdoors. Some of the tablecloths were on the wrong table, but the rain was a 50% chance predicted, but it didn't rain, and it was sunny. 7 or 7:30 time would have been okay, but 7:30 gave me more time to get things arranged. Suddenly, I had 75 people in my living room. We went out. I felt like a school teacher telling them to be quiet. We'd taken a radio down below so there'd be noise down there to distract the Donaldsons. Then we had them come up. They did seem surprised and said they were. They may have suspected, but not the magnitude of it all. In retrospect, the 7:30 time was better because I think some had eaten, but most had not. First, we had punch in my punch bowl in the dining room. I'd made 3 ring molds, and we used them all. It was hot even with the air conditioning with that many. Outdoors, we proposed a toast to them. Their minister, Reverend Morgan, and John proposed toasts. Then we had the buffet outdoors. John carved the honey-baked ham, 17 pounds, and we had mushroom pies, and I'd made a watermelon bowl of fruit. 4 friends of Carly's brought salads, potato, beans, and Jell-O molds. Rolls, my big coffee urn. Peter was so helpful. Since Patty didn't get home until the next morning, he tried to help with the fruit bowl. Clunk, clunk, like he was at Boy Scout camp. Funny. I had ordered a beautiful silver wedding cake, a replica of their wedding cake, only date nut. It had pink and white roses. It was just beautiful. So we had the cake and opened their many, many lovely silver gifts. She got more silver than I did for our wedding. Did I ever thank you so much for the silver tray you sent for our 25th wedding anniversary? It's lovely, and I've used it so much. Thank you. Everyone seemed so appreciative and enjoyed it, I think. So many said what a lovely home. One Dr. friend said, "Everything else is so nice, but where's the television set?" Up in the studio. We didn't get everything in until 3 o'clock in the morning, and it rained at 5 a.m. John had put out torches, and we had the lights out and hurricane lamps on the tables. It was so pretty. Patty had phoned that she'd fly home to help me, $75, or she'd get a ride. The boy who drove her home was going to his folks' 25th anniversary. They'd driven all night, but she immediately started washing dishes and helping clean up the kitchen. I'd given up about 4 in the morning after vacuuming everything and doing several piles of dishes. So the next day, Friday, was Jane's wedding, Mary Faulkner's sister. It was lovely and a lovely reception for 125 at the athletic club. Champagne orchestra, lovely dance. I'd offered to have it in the yard. One of our neighbors had theirs in the yard at the same time. It was all perfect. Saturday, they'd asked us to have the luncheon for relatives, but canceled it. Thank heavens, because it rained. But the bride, Jane, and groom, Mike, used our beach house for their honeymoon before they left for a 6-week trip to Europe. I was down Saturday putting up bamboo blinds until midnight to fix up the beach house, new sheets, pillows, bedspread, mattress, covers, etc. We'd been to a party down Avalon Drive, a Mexican fiesta. Sunday, Patty flew back to Dartmouth, and we took Mary to dinner, and then Mary, her sister Ann, and cousin Victor stayed in the beach house. I haven't fixed it up so nice, but that I've spent the last 2 nights down there. My legs, I thought they were paralyzed from so much climbing. Shirley Collard had sent a beautiful flower arrangement, so I've painted it. Truly lovely, and I appreciated it. Peter said about you, pretty funny, pretty nice, nice to have around, not dead like some people. Some kids have old grandparents that are crabby. It cracked him up at Vale about the garbage thing. You are game for everything, not conservative like Grandma Ray, he said. Patty will be home August 29th until September 12th. We are to go to Lakeside the first week, but John may be in trial. The big news is Peter's team won the Suburban League baseball. He put 2 out. Patty wants us to drive her to Dartmouth to pick up the things and take her to Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island. She's taking her fall term there. We may drive Mark back to Boston, Massachusetts then too. It's a long 13 to 17-hour trip one way, but John's mother went with us in the spring. Maybe you could go with us. Would you be able to come visit us and go to Lakeside with us? We'd love to have you. It's nice for you to see Mark and Patty too, and for them to see you. The weekend before the party, we asked Mark to come to help in the yard. John got him Friday night, and he brought his dog Gomer, whom I love. Peter and I looked after her last winter. Mark went down to the beach house, and in the morning up came Gomer. I gave her a bone. Usually she is so good and stays by the kitchen door, and I was looking forward to having her at my heels all weekend in the yard. I should have kept her in the kitchen. A knock came on the door. A doctor down the street. Gomer had been hit by a car and killed. They had her in a box. I felt like dying. Peter came home from Boy Scout camp, and we wept in each other's shoulders. My darling little black cocker spaniel, the only dog I'll ever have. Mark came up from the beach house. He'd been sick all night. Then he was even sicker. Then he got poison ivy so bad he had to have a cortisone shot. What a waste. It took all the heart out of me, and I almost thought I couldn't go on with the party. Poor Mark, poor Gomer, poor Peter, poor me. It still hurts to think of her. How I wish you'd met her. You'd have just loved her so much. I could have beaten myself for not keeping her close. She'd follow the little girl next door across the street. When she waggled her tail, her whole body shook and waggled, and she waggled most of the time. She was so loving, and I needed that. Mark buried her out at the farm in Oberlin. Poor Mark. Pam Williams is gone for a year, but I thought at least he has Gomer. Now she's gone too. He's been reading some very deep philosophy and is getting interested in ethics. I think he's a reincarnation of an old Greek philosopher. Have felt that ever since he was born. Thank you so much for the head-pointed dinner bell. It's lovely. It's so lovely here. I wish Dad would come and see our place and kids too. Peter said he was so glad that he got to know his Grandpa Ray a little before he died. The house next door to the Metros, 2 doors away, that we tried to buy once, sold for $250,000, $250,000. Thank you so much for coming to Colorado. I do hope you thought it worth the trip. I don't think Peter wants to go out there. He'd now like to visit Duke University in North Carolina, a lot warmer. Lucky kids to have such choices. Lucky to have a dad to send them. Hope you're feeling okay. Nan Gregory's dad, Sven Nilsson, died. Remember him? Please write to her. I visited her and went to the funeral, and went to Nan's for dinner after the funeral. Ann Anderson was there, and they both said they'd love to see you again, and if you visit, they'd love to have you visit them or to go out to lunch. We had a funeral Tuesday, a 25th anniversary party Thursday, and a wedding Friday. Honeymooners here Saturday, and Mexican fiesta. Quite a week. Carly brought me a lovely yellow mum plant. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, September 15th, 1977. Dearest Mother and Dad, thank you for the box of ginger chocolates for my birthday, and lovely birthday card, and so good to get your good letter. I was getting concerned, but I know you've been busy. So sorry about your stomach and gas. What is causing it? You really are so good for your age. Remarkable. We've had a busy time, went to Lakeside, but John felt gypped. We went late because Peter had speed reading class, and Patty didn't get home from Dartmouth until 4:30 a.m. Wednesday. So we went Wednesday night, and everyone left Sunday. So we come home, so a shorter trip than usual. Then Mark and Patty went back to college, leaving at 3 a.m. Saturday. Don Dreger, Holly's dad, drove them. He had a trailer to take Lisa back to Providence, Rhode Island, School of Design at Providence, Rhode Island, where Patty will be at Brown University this term. Then they drove Mark up to Boston. We went to a wedding outside Pittsburgh Saturday. John's partner's son, Kent Myers, of Dave Myers, only son of Kent Myers and grandson of Mrs. Sabin. The church was full, over 200 guests, and then a sit-down dinner at the country club nearby. The next day we went to Fallingwater, a lovely house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, an hour and a half away. Wright built the house over a waterfall. Took another couple and Mrs. Sabin and brought her home Sunday. This weekend we're going to a Dartmouth tea dance and to Oberlin twice, because Allison Cheek, the woman priest, is coming. Her husband died suddenly at age 52 in June. He was with the World Bank, and they were about to leave for Geneva, Switzerland. In the same mail as your box came a box from Helen's neighbors, who were at Helen's party in January. They sent me yellow tulip bulbs, yellow crocus bulbs, and a big bulb. Good for me to get into the garden now that Mark and Patty have left, and how thoughtful of them. Well, what can we do for your big birthday coming up? I really thought you'd be visiting us this summer here, and we do something then. Now, what would you like? It should be special. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the trip. Wonderful of you to have Bud over for dinner and him to arrange it and want it. Thank you for the Purple Martin story. We just love our Purple Martins here. They are so busy when here. This year they came later than usual and left a month early. I wonder if it means a tough winter. They threw out several of their babies or fell. I was in the backyard reading, and 3 fell right in front of me. Lots of people have purple martin houses, but not many get martins. They like the clear flight in here, I expect. One friend said she envied me so much that she came and sat in our backyard just to watch them. What a nice thing for you to write about life. I hope you're feeling better. Take care. God bless. Thank you. Love, Ruth, John, and Peter. P.S. Peter is running cross-country 6 miles every night, so he doesn't get home until 6 o'clock or so. Please return the photo. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. October 19th, 1977. Dearest Mother and Dad, Happy birthday, Mother. You're certainly a young 80. I saw a birthday card to a very young person and almost got it for you. How wonderful that you made the trip to visit Norma. It sounds as though you had a good trip and were able to see Nadine's family, Byron, etc. And how great that you could help her finish her quilt. I was beginning to worry about not hearing from you and wondered if you were ill, and found your letter here when we got back from Duke University in North Carolina. It was one of the colleges where Patty had been accepted, but she'd never visited, so Peter thought he might. They have one of the top 3 medical schools in the country. We were amazed to find snow on the ground on the way down in West Virginia and North Carolina, and it snowed on the way back too. We had a lovely warm day there, though. It was homecoming weekend and football, and is a beautiful campus. It's a problem deciding where they would get the best education and also be happy. Peter has been running in the cross-country meets, so has been very busy too. I don't know if I mentioned, we had 2 couples from Michigan stay with us the weekend before last for dinner, football game, and brunch at the yacht club. The weekend before that, we had our artist friend stay here and a gathering of 16 to see her slides. Also had a meeting for the school board candidate that John is campaign chairman for. Your picture is wonderful. The one of you and Dad especially good for your Christmas card. You should get an enlargement of it. You certainly look great for 79 years old. I am enjoying my painting class so much, and tennis. I must get my bulbs in soon. Hope that we haven't missed Bud's visit east. How wonderful of him to have such a big turkey dinner. He's so good to you, a real rock anchor. Lake Erie is calm and beautiful today. The foliage was gorgeous on our trip south, absolutely exquisite, the colors in all hues. It was almost 1,300 miles, and Peter drove 500 of it. We saw a terrible accident in the snow and ice. I'm so glad you had a safe trip. How did you get back up to Vancouver? Really wonderful. I'm sorry I can't have your birthday party, but hope you have a good day. God bless. I'm so sorry about your pot and stove. Hope you are well. I love you. We're very lucky to have you. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. October 24th, 1977. Dearest Mother and Dad, Happy 80th birthday, Mother. Wow, how great that you don't feel it. It's good to talk to you. Sorry I didn't come. It hadn't really occurred to me until Bud mentioned it when I called him Friday night. I'd written him about having a party, and he phoned Wednesday that he was having you to dinner. He's so good. I did call the airlines. They have a good flight that leaves here at 8 o'clock in the morning and gets there by 11 o'clock a.m., and one at 5:45 p.m. gets there about 8:45 p.m. I washed my hair. I think John thinks I should have gone. Patty's 20th birthday is Wednesday, November 3rd. You were 60 when you came when she was born. Wow. And Mark will be 25 the next week, November 9th. 25. That also would have been Bud's silver wedding anniversary. I hope you had a gorgeous day as we did today. So beautiful. Lake Erie is so pretty and the foliage is so colorful and warm. It's a warm, sunny day. John is campaign chairman for one of the school board candidates. I took over a couple of ads to the newspapers this morning before my painting class. I love my watercolor class. Shara and Don McQuilkin took us to a concert last night for my birthday. He was a former piano pupil of Patty's teacher. He was fantastic. Lovely concert. We went down to Duke University last weekend. It was snowing in West Virginia and North Carolina. The foliage was extraordinary. Lack of moisture, I understand. So beautiful this year. It was a 1,300-mile trip. Peter drove 500 miles of it. One of John's secretaries is being married Saturday. We will have a party here election night for Mary Ann Kavicki, the school board candidate, next Tuesday, November 2nd. Duke University has a lovely campus. It was one of the schools Patty had been accepted at, but she'd never visited. Peter seemed to like it. Now he has the big job of sending in his applications to the schools he decides on, and then waiting to find out where he's accepted, and then deciding where to go. Patty likes Brown, and Peter is considering it too. The competition to get into the good colleges is so great. Dartmouth only takes 1 out of 8 applicants. Then getting into some of the graduate schools is tougher. Medical school, law school. I asked Professor Thompson, the head of psychology at Oberlin, if Mark needed psychological counseling, as they'd suggested at the Episcopal Divinity School, and he said an emphatic no, and he said that even suggesting it bordered on libel. I hope you had a very good birthday, and thanks to Bud. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. November 9th, 1977. Dearest Mother and Dad, today is Mark's 25th birthday, a red letter day in our lives 25 years ago, as John reminded me this morning. We're so very lucky to have him, John too. I'm as exhausted today as I was then. It's a most gorgeous day in the 70s. We've had it up to 75. I'm out in the sun in shorts surrounded by our beautiful flowers. John had his breakfast on the porch, and we're really glorying in our beautiful weather. Yesterday was our election day, and last night our big party. 40 to 50 came. John was a successful campaign manager. Our candidate won. It was a real victory. Such a change in a person. When she came to our house 6 weeks ago for Marilyn's slideshow of her art, she was so depressed. She'd phoned, she'd come, and I congratulated her on running, and she said she had no campaign, no money, no manager, nothing, and John said he'd help. When I was president of the Kensington PTA, she was president of Goldwood PTA. So 4 weeks ago, we had our first and only campaign meeting, and we did all the things the others did who've been campaigning for months. We put out a flyer raising over $450. John got $200 from one man. I put ads in the newspapers, had a telephone campaign. She was so surprised when she won, and so last night we had a real victory party for her. But I'm so tired of having parties for other people. January, Helen Lacey's 80th birthday, 40 for dinner. June 19th, 45 for Jane Faulkner's luncheon shower. Marge and Harold's family reunion, August 4th. 80 for dinner for Carly and Dick's 25th wedding anniversary. September 30th, Marilyn's party about 16. October 8th, Detroit friends. Last Saturday we had 10, some clients from Columbus. And last night about finished me. But I would like to have had one for you. Just as I'm getting to have had enough, John is beginning to enjoy them. My poor gold and white carpet in the living room has had so much traffic. I've enjoyed using your pink roses, dessert plates, and wash and dry each one lovingly. Thank you. What a legacy. For Patty, I expect. I should be in finishing dishes and vacuuming, but I was up till 1 a.m. cleaning up and up since 7 a.m. It's about 1 p.m. now, and the sun is so lovely and warm. I've put in 5 baskets of pansies and 2 to go and another couple hundred bulbs. John prepares the bulbs for me, the hard part. If you plan to come when the magnolia blooms, you'd better hurry, for it's about to burst. I'll enclose a bud. I know the roses go fast. Maybe I should have ordered something more practical. Would you order for a bouquet of something or plant or what you think he would like for Bud? Or what for me for his would have been 25th? I'll send a check or money order, whatever is best. When we have the florist do it, it's so much, $35 for yours. Pink sweetheart roses for Bud or one in a bouquet? I wanted Bud to order a cake for your birthday from me, but he said that you all don't like cake. So wonderful for him to help you get and install a new chandelier. I hope it's more practical than mine. I've always had such dillies to clean. My new hall one is the worst one yet, and I thought it would be easier. Bud is such a blessing to you. So sad his 25th. We're planning to go to the Bahamas for Christmas in just 5 weeks. Mark wants to go. He's planning to go to Europe next summer and see Pam Williams. She's going to university there. She and her mother finished their book before she left. Patty is only supposed to be spending a semester or 2 at Brown as a visiting student. When I was her age, I would have loved to have gone through University of Saskatchewan straight through. But she thinks the way I got my degree at several universities was neat, and she wants to try other places. She's supposed to go back to Dartmouth unless she changes her mind. She went back last weekend for her birthday weekend and the Brown-Dartmouth football game, except that she's like her mother and doesn't like football and wasn't planning to go to the game. She hasn't liked the heavy emphasis on sports, fraternities, male chauvinist attitude, and drinking at Dartmouth. She likes the arts and more culture and not such a sexist atmosphere. I make the comparison of the way I felt about St. Augustine and Ohio. We'll see. I enjoyed Mark's letters to you. When he mentioned me crying about not spending Christmas with you, Helen had been bemoaning not spending Christmas with her sons, who were only a few hundred miles away. And John always acts so gloomy at Christmas, like a kid who didn't get any toys. Even before Pam died, he'd never open his gifts, and after I'd knocked myself out trying to make a nice Christmas and turkey dinner, it made me so... I imagine the way Bud felt the first Christmas after Doris died, and he'd tried so hard, and you and Dad quarreled about the pudding, and Dad stayed in the car. Oh, well. A friend of ours' 20-year-old son just drowned sailing, and I must write to her near Tacoma. And another friend's husband died Labor Day. She has 3 little girls and just had their first baby boy after her husband died. How people survive. I'm so glad the parcel was okay on the sweater. I got the pale green cashmere for you, your color, then remembered that you don't like turtlenecks. But it should be cozy for winter. I undervalued it a lot. The chocolates should be so good. I've enjoyed my gingers, too. It's good you went to Shirley's graduation. Yes, I was sorry you missed mine and Mark's too. Mark should be getting his master's degree this spring too, and Peter graduates from high school. Patty graduated the year Mark got his bachelor's degree, and now she's halfway through her bachelor's. Time flies. Carol is working on hers now too. How wonderful of Daphne to bring over Jessica. I'll send your pictures back. I realized how bad I am about that. Peter wants one of our thatched gazebo in the Bahamas for his college article, and I've sent the best to you. I thought I'd send your pictures to Patty to see first. Patty phoned us the night before her birthday, and Mark phoned us last night just before we talked to you. He's working so hard to get into a PhD program. Thanks for remembering Bud for us. I love you. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. November 21st, 1977. Dear Dad, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I hope you are well and happy and having a good year. You have been having lots of celebrations your way this year. Hope the weather isn't too bad. I have heard the Dakotas and Minnesota have lots of snow and wondering if you do too. We've had the most gorgeous fall. I guess because we were expecting the worst. The purple martins left so early I thought it was a sign. I wrote a couple of weeks ago that we had it so warm and sunny that I was out sunbathing. 2 days later we had a sudden snow that was the most beautiful I've ever seen. It started gently, and by evening we turned out the lights and looked out at the lake. Fantastic. Light sky out and the trees covered with snow. The evergreens especially majestic. Of course, I'd planned to let my flowers go, but couldn't do it, so rushed out in the snow and yanked as many as I could. So now I have a garage full. I'd already brought in the geraniums. But even last night, I had John take a rose over to Dick Stevens, his partner, who had eye surgery. And last week sent a rose to, it's mild again now, Sue Donaldson for her 22nd birthday. This would have been Pam's 23rd year. I wish I could give you one of our last roses this year. I wish that you would come next spring and see our place here. We really are so lucky to have it. A lot of work, but lovely, and wish you could share it. We really appreciate you helping Mom deliver the fern to Bud. He's been so good to you both, and I feel so lucky to have him there. I'm not much help so far away. We're looking forward to seeing Mark and Patty in the Bahamas at Christmas. We're to meet them in Nassau December 16th for almost 3 weeks and come back January 3rd. Then on January 8th, Peter will get his Eagle Scout award. Mark will come home with us for a few days, so be here for it. Thursday is Thanksgiving, and we're going to Carol's. Patty will go to Mark's in Boston. John will visit them next week when he goes east on a case. I wish you'd go to Hawaii in February and enjoy some warm weather during the winter, and enjoy your money while you can. Hope to see you here in May or June too. Happy 77th birthday. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, Patty, and Peter. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. December 5th, 1977. Dearest Mother and Dad, it was so good to talk to you last night and hear that Dad is improving. Also so good to get your letter this morning for the details. I'm so glad also that you are bearing up so well under it all. It is such a strain for you all. I hope that you'll order a poinsettia plant for Dad from us, and then you can have it for Christmas too. I'll send you another check too. The other one hasn't cleared. Is it difficult to cash? Do you get the American exchange? Is a money order better? Would you rather us order the poinsettias from here? They charge us for the phone calls. If you can, order one for Bud also. Red, pink, or white, whichever you like, best for yourself or Bud. We'll try to call you before we leave in 10 days, on the 15th. Poor Mark has so much work to do that Patty said he might not be able to make it, and we planned the trip because he wanted to go. Now he's the one that's tied up. Peter also will miss a week's school and is busy getting college applications out. Mark is also applying for a PhD program while finishing up his master's degree. We have a blizzard today, so my painting class is canceled. John's case was also canceled. We showed our Bahama movies last night to a family, the Novaks. Their son, Joe Novak, is going with us, Peter's friend. I have the groceries now to get packed. Also trying to change Mark's reservations. I'm trying to make your Christmas pudding and cake recipe. I do hope Dad continues to improve. It's so important that he keeps trying with his speech. It's remarkable that he is, and I'm sure we all appreciate each other more. How wonderful to have Bud. You too. God bless. I love you, Ruth. P.S. I prayed for Dad at Bible study too. Last year, Patty said, "What are our traditions in our family? We should have traditions. So we must make your pudding to take to the Bahamas." Now we have a comment based on the original publication from my father, John S. Ray, and Ruth's husband. Dear Editor, the first 4 pages of pictures in FMC number 77 are just wonderful. The picture of Mark and Pam with Dick Morris in March 1971 is something. Pam looked so well, so bright-eyed, so alive, and a month later she was gone. Peter, I had forgotten that you ran cross-country in high school. Good for you. I had forgotten about being Mary Ann Kavicki's campaign manager when she ran for the school board. I do remember the $200 donation now that I get to thinking about it, from Theo Mole. Red hosted so many parties, amazing. It's interesting to read Mark's letter after Don Dreger dropped him off at Boston University. Says he's going to break even for the first time in his life. Mark was 25 years old and he is now approaching his 50th birthday. Boy, time really flies. A very enjoyable SFMC. Keep up the good work. Love, Dad. John S. Ray, Rocky River, Ohio. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.